I'm here with my friend Miani. Miani's an artist, and I'm going to ask her just right now, what made you decide that's what you were going to be?
You know, I never questioned it. For me, it was a given. And it never occurred to me that I wouldn't be successful at it either. It was just, I was going to be an artist. I was an artist. I created. Never made any sense. It never had to, it seemed. So it's been with me since early on. In fact, I can remember being in single digits. Well, I'm most known, and my career has been as a mixed media painter. Right now, I'm working almost exclusively in wood that's been left for dead. And I look back, and I was probably 7 or 9 years old, walking through the woods and picking up then sticks and twigs and wood, and going, oh, what else is it? And how can I play with this? And taking the bark off. So it seems after an entire, well, I don't want to say an entire because I'm not done yet, but after a lengthy career as a painter, I'm now doing the work that I was doing when I was 7 years old. There's something in that, yeah. If you're wondering what's yours to do, look at what you were doing as a child.
Yeah.
And bring that back. So
Yeah, but you trained formally.
Yeah. I did and I didn't. I think that was another thing I didn't question. I did go to art school because I thought that's what you did. I did not know how to draw, nor did I have any interest in conventional art, say landscapes, portraits, like that. And I ended up in a school where that was the emphasis. And the only reason I chose the art school that I did was because they didn't require a portfolio. I didn't have one. I did not know how to draw. So my lack of experience or innocence, I didn't have the full scope right then intellectually of what an artist is, what it entails. It's everything. Yeah. We're all artists. Yeah. So I thought you went to art school. One of my instructors wanted to kick me out because he said, we're all doing Beethoven here and you come in like Stravinsky. And I thought, they didn't share anything about creativity. It was all technique. But what I did find that I appreciated is that I could devote my full attention to experimenting and exploring, and I started doing assemblage. This was in the 60s, the late 60s, early 70s. And collage and assemblage were like breathing for me. But as a student, they didn't kick me out.
Yeah.
And I did learn how to draw. Although I don't do that so much. Perhaps I know how to distort much more effectively because I do know how to draw now. So I'll give them that. But to be around other people who were really passionate about creating and being in the arts was exciting. But I started doing collage and assemblage and loved it. And Robert Rauschenberg and Joseph Cornell, I think, were quite influential to me. I love that they took found materials and, yes, this is art. So I work in a number of different mediums, but I feel self-taught in all of them.
Yeah, self-taught.
Self-taught, self-played.
Yeah. So does that figure into, beyond creative expression, is it emotional expression? Is it spiritual expression? What is it? I'm just interested in your process.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't separate any of it. Whether I'm in the studio or not, it's all a spiritual practice for me. When I am more mindful, I go deeper with my materials and with my process. I'm more about the art of creating than the creating of art. Mm-hmm. Although that's what happens. I do have actually a thing when I'm done. When I'm most mindful, so I'm in the studio painting, I introduce myself to the surface that I'm working on. And it's like together we are one. And I acknowledge it and I say, show me something of myself I've never seen reflected. Because I've come to find in my experience that all we are ever creating is ourselves. There's nothing else out there to create. So show me an aspect of myself. And then it feels more emotional. than anything else, but I'll be led to a texture. I've got boxes full of material, paper waste, found, wood, metal, especially a lot of paper waste. And I'll be drawn to maybe a section of paper, and it lights me up. And I'll be drawn to a particular color, and that's about the only thinking I do. I'll pick a color and something of texture, and then the challenge is to continually surrender, to stay out of my head and become a collaborator with my materials. They know where they want to go, they know what they want to do, and I ask the question, and it's like I have to shut up, which is not always easy for me to do. But it's in that quiet that they're showing me something of myself I've never seen reflected. But I've got to be there and to look at how the materials want to dance. And my process is one of sanding and building with color. So there's a constant application and then a taking away and allowing previous color and texture to reveal itself. And so it's very human-like.
I was going to ask that because
Journey.
Your work it's not just about speaking of who you are. Apparently, it speaks to a lot of other people as well. You have work all over the world, and you would be considered a successful artist in that you sold a lot of pieces. And
I have, and I'm very grateful for that. And when people say, I was asked just recently, what do you want others to see in your work? And I say themselves.
Mm-hmm.
With the torn, with some areas being rather raw and kind of naked. It's like what you see is what you get. And how beautifully they interact with areas of a piece that seem to be more finished. But I like going beneath the surface, and my work begs you to go beneath the surface. You can't, and people want to touch the work immediately. And you can. I've created the work so it can be touched. It really demands to be interacted with. These are alive. These are sentient. They have voice. I am a midwife with my work. The work needs that I collaborate or that I midwife needs to be actualized. It has life, and I guess it's like a child. These are my children. That once I've created something or brought something to completion, nothing's ever complete. You just stop at a good place. Then it's meant to go out into the world. And a piece is not complete until it's found its right home. Complete for me, for my interaction with it. When it's found its right home, meaning the people that it will be engaged and involved with on a regular basis, then it really starts to change. And people will contact me even 12 years after they've purchased work and say, it keeps changing, it's never the same piece. And I say, that's because you're changing. These are mirrors, they're all reflections. So I'm a midwife, and oftentimes it's not until a piece is, when a piece is done and I've moved away from it, it's like, oh my God, where was I when this was going on? So I love being surprised. My approach to the wood work is vastly different than what it is in the studio when I'm painting. Even though I like using materials that other people discard and ignore and throw out. And Home Depot is my favorite place to buy all my materials. When I work with wood that's been left for dead, and in stones, fiber, wood, I generally just put out a call that I'm coming out and what wants to come home with me. And I walk through the woods and I will know where to go, and sometimes I'll end up actually digging beneath the soil, and I'll find branches that have been buried, 50, 100 years, and they're covered in rot. Now, to me, they're extraordinary just the way they are, but I do want to interact with them, because what fun is it just finding something and hanging it? It might be, but I really like to interact with it. So, again, it's very human-like. I feel more like, when I'm in the studio doing mixed media work, I'm like an architect. when I'm out in the woods collecting stones and wood and fibers, I feel like an archaeologist. And as I remove the rot that covers the piece, and then I remove the bark, and the process is one of sanding and sanding and sanding, and then oiling and sanding. And then the heart of the wood is revealed. It just, I mean, you see this rotten piece of wood, and then all of a sudden, its heart is right there, and the wood is extraordinary. It's never died. It's right there. And so I create things that are beautiful wall hangings, or pieces that can go on altars. I've been doing wall altars, just finding wonderful things in the woods that just show themselves to me. So there's an intent, what wants to come home, and because my radar is up, I'll see pieces after having declared an intent that I wouldn't see if I were just walking in the woods. They may have been right in front of me, but I didn't see them. When I put that intention out that I'm looking for collaborators and co-creators and friends, you know, show yourself, then it's like, wow, it was right there all along, but I didn't see it until...
It's such an intimate process.
Yes.
And it surprises me, you know, that you say they find their homes with other people. Are there some that are so personal to you that you say, no, this is my baby. I got.
Well, they stayed with me for a while
Yeah.
anyway. I don't know if anything's ever stayed with me forever. But I do have some pieces that are wonderful reminders. One is the power of presence. And that's hanging in my living room right now. It used to be in my bedroom, and it reflects back to me the power of pulling my energy in and being focused and serene and content in my body, which doesn't happen a lot. So this is a visual reminder of, oh, I feel better when I'm introspective. I have another one that I really care for a lot, that tickles me. And then I behold the miraculous, only to discover I was seeing myself from the inside out. And that's a reminder too that it all begins from within. So I don't keep the paintings because of the visual impact. Oftentimes it's the title. And then one day I'll walk by it and it's not mine anymore. And then I put it out in the world to find its home.
So is that your legacy?
No.
What's your legacy?
By example, I inspire others to do what gives them great joy and passion. You mentioned success before, and yes, I'm very grateful that my work is loved and is received by so many people who have never been attracted to contemporary or evocative work. But I think when I look back as a result of this interview, I have always done what I love. Even at the threat of being kicked out or not accepted, or, you know, what is this nonsense? You know, you're not doing landscapes. It's like, well, they have cameras for that. And there's beautiful landscapes out there. But I mean, in terms of how I saw so I like to feel, I think my greatest art is inspiring others to do what gives them joy, because that's what I'm doing. And I know that's why I'm a success. Because when people are attracted to my work, they feel the joy. They feel the love, they feel the respect, they feel the intimacy, the relationship, everything that goes on. It really is a collaboration. And I've been told over and over and over again for years, God, your work just makes me feel so good. So I think that's why people, I mean, I've had men and, you know, couples come up to me that may be in their 70s and 80s who have never even considered buying contemporary work, by their admission, and they buy my work because it makes them feel so good. So I'm tickled when that happens.
Yeah.
So they saw something of themselves within the piece, and they want it. So I just keep doing what my legacy is, to live the example, to be the example of.
Yeah. You just turned 70.
I just turned 70.
Yeah. Yay!
Yay!
Yay! What does it mean?
What is it?
Well, it means a lot more than I thought it was going to mean. And turning 70 was like a breath of fresh air. I felt such freedom. 69 wasn't so easy. And maybe the last year of any decade can be a little stressful because there's things that need to be completed and finish up before you can move to another decade. Maybe not, but that was my reasoning. So when I turned 70, I woke up in the morning going, this is going to be the best decade of my life. I already love it, being 70. And I tell everybody that because most of the time I don't look it, and I certainly don't act it. And I don't know what 70 is supposed to look like, but I ain't it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm looking to what's next, and I'm doing more writing, and it's like the pieces I will never stop creating. I can't imagine ever stopping creating, you know, with my hands and doing three-dimensional work, artistic work. It's all art. How do I describe what I do? Doing the paintings or the woodwork or the basketry or the beadwork. I do so many different things.
Yeah.
But they want their story told.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be writing stories. That adds another element, another texture to the visual.
Yeah, and you should. I mean,
I think it's time. I really
yeah,
get that it's time to do that.
Your writing flows beautifully. I hope when we offer this piece that we have some of your written words along with your I know. Be it all.
Oh.
Be it all. Is that
There, I am a
what's
voice.
next?
What's that song? I am a voice just waiting to be heard. I heard that in a song, and I thought, ooh, that kind of is like an earthquake inside.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna run.
Yeah.
Ooh, run. What's next?
Yeah, what's coming? What's coming up? Because you got a lot of fire.
It feels like going deeper and getting lighter at the same time.
Yeah.
Going deeper meaning living more fully in this physical house, and I think the writing lives in a deep place. And moving beyond any hesitation or doubt to allow it to come up to express itself. Because I think that the things that I do artistically with my hands would really enjoy the accompaniment of words.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's next.
Yeah. So we're here. We are in actually a library office at Omega, and this is where I met Miani and became acquainted with her amazing work. And Kevin and I just fell in love with all the depth and but is this where people can best see your work, or do you have
Right now it is. My career I've been supported by galleries my entire career, and right now I want more intimacy and connection with those who wish to have my work. So I volunteer at the Omega Institute and have for 13 seasons, and I've been given this beautiful library space to exhibit my work for the last 8 seasons, and it's like having my own gallery, which is really nice. People can interact with me. I'm part of that whole process. I think when you buy the art, you buy the artist. And my studio is just 5 miles from here, so I love it when prospective clients come to the house and nothing is on white walls. You know, it's like these pieces, when I create them, they live with me. They're part of my life. They are my life. And it's like a 2 or 3 hour event. I have lunch for them. We enjoy a glass of wine. We enjoy a walk around the property. They rummage through all my piles of wood. You know, the person who claims a piece is their own, is all part of my process.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like going into a gallery where there's white walls and things are hung. I don't think my home and studio are together, and I think people feel very, very comfortable being in that space, you know, having a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and kicking back, and they can ask whatever questions they want, and then I know that I have midwifed, you know, I've passed a piece on, but it's going to be cared for. when my things were represented by galleries, you know, I'd know when a piece sold and what part of the world it might be going to, but I never knew who bought it. And at this juncture, I'd rather have quality, you know, of the interaction, not quantity of,
Yeah.
it's,
You know, it is an amazing pleasure talking with you and hearing about your birthing process and all of this, all the depth of the work, and look forward to hearing a lot more from where you're headed in the future here.
well, thank you so much. I am thrilled to be a part of your new adventure with this blog and the direction that you're going in right now.
Yeah.
I think it's fabulous, and I feel very honored to be part of this. Whenever I can engage in an interaction like this, I always learn more about myself, and I feel it leaves me with greater confidence and well-being about, I get to play with sticks and twigs. Ooh. You know, and people want to hear about it. Does it get better than this? I don't know.
Keep playing with sticks and twigs.
Sticks and twigs, they carry the universe. It's like, oh my God, they're alive. They're incredible.
Thank you so much, Miani.
Thank you so much. You want me to wait?
Here we go.